Berlin, a city of war and wall, rebellion and rebirth, and tucked away inside a hostel on Rosenthaler Platz, a shrine, not to the degenerate character they call Marx, not to the amazing Bowie, but to David Hasselhoff. Yes, the Hoff, Knight Rider, Baywatch, SpongeBob and SquarePants, but also for some Berliners, a man who sang as the wall fell and somehow became a symbol of freedom.
Today I want to welcome you to one of the most iconic parts of all of Berlin, Rosenthaler Platz. Now, we are not here to check out the subway, we're not here to check out the beautiful shops or the fashionable places all the hipsters like to shop at. No, we're going to go to probably one of the most iconic, most memorable museums in all of Berlin. That's right, we're going to go to the David Hasselhoff Museum, which is just in here, in the basement of this hostel over here. I think obviously, drumming up business, they've created a beautiful museum to the man, the iconic, the Hoff. Now picture this, December 31st, 1989. The Berlin Wall has fallen and they're having a celebration right at the Berlin Wall, and the Hoff, in his 80s glory, stands up on the Berlin Wall and starts singing, "Are you looking for freedom?" In that moment, not only were some of Berlin and some of Germany enamored by the Hoff, all of Germany and all of Berlin, west and east, were enamored by the Hoff. And ever since then, he's been an icon to the German people, he's been an icon to Berlin especially. The people love him, and that's why there's a museum dedicated to the Hoff. Should we go and look inside?
There was one thing that happened to me in the 80s, besides Knight Rider and Baywatch.
Now, most people know David Hasselhoff as a 1980s icon, Knight Rider's Michael Knight, Baywatch's Mitch Buchanan, but what many forget or never knew is that David Hasselhoff was huge in Germany. We're talking chart-topping, arena-filling, rock star level huge. In 1989, his song, Looking for Freedom, became a kind of unofficial anthem for Germans. It was #1 for 8 weeks. 8. This is when record sales actually counted for something.
When I sang on the Berlin Wall in 1989 to 1 million people, and I look back at it now, and it's finally getting the airplay. Nobody wanted to even put it on television. No one really gave a damn. And in the world, I did. I'd been behind the Berlin Wall.
One morning in June, some 20 years ago, I was a rich man's son. I had everything that money could buy, but freedom I had none.
Quick heads up, today's video is sponsored by Whimhold. They sent me this leather travel wallet to try out, and honestly I've been using it on the road and it's pretty solid. It's slim, holds the essentials, cards, cash, and even your passport, and it keeps everything in one place when you're bouncing between airports or cities. If you're into simple, practical travel gear, check them out, the link is in the description. Now back to the video.
My song was called Looking for Freedom. It just happened to be #1 that summer. And the wall came down November 9th, and we were #1 for 8 weeks in the summer. So we found out that people in East Germany were actually singing Looking for Freedom before they were free. And that to me was really cool. So I went into East Germany and said, "How do you know me?" And they said, "You know me, the man who talks to a car?" And they looked at me like I was nuts. Like, you talk to a car?
Michael Knight. Ah.
And I said, "Yeah." They said, "No, you're the man who sings of freedom." And I went, "Wow." And then so there was a responsibility that it came there, and I really got into that whole movement. I still am.
On New Year's Eve 1989, just weeks after the Berlin Wall fell, the Hoff performed this very song to a massive crowd near the Brandenburg Gate, wearing a glowing piano scarf, standing on a crane, singing to a divided city in celebration. It was absurd, it was glorious, and somehow it worked.
I've been looking for freedom. I've been looking so long.
For a generation of Berliners, David Hasselhoff was there when it all changed, when the wall came down, when history rewrote itself. Sure, he didn't bring the wall down himself, but he was part of the soundtrack, and that matters. So back to this place, the David Hasselhoff Museum, located under the Circus Hostel in Mitte. It's small, it's cheeky, but it's packed with Hoff-tastic treasures. There's Knight Rider merch, signed records and posters, that infamous glowing scarf, even a mural of the Hoff with the wall behind him. And if you talk to the staff there, they'll tell you people come from all over just to see this. Some for a laugh, some for nostalgia, and some, dare I say, out of reverence, because Berliners never forget their oddball icons. And in this city of depth and contradiction, Hasselhoff is part of that story. In a city overflowing with serious history, Cold War bunkers, Nazi architecture, Stasi surveillance, there's something beautifully human about a place like this. A reminder that revolutions don't just happen with guns and speeches. Sometimes they happen with pop songs, ridiculous scarves, and a man who believed in freedom. So if you're in Berlin, come pay your respects to the Hoff. Freedom fighter, cultural enigma, and yes, maybe even a national treasure. Kind of, at least. Thank you, David Hasselhoff.
Well, there you have it. A museum devoted to the legend that is the Hoff. More of a shrine, really. A small little corridor at the bottom of a hostel. But you know what? It's a perfect little shrine to the legend that is David Hasselhoff. Yeah.